Welcome to Profile. My guest today is producer extraordinaire Mikey Bennett, and this is our part 2 of our series where we're talking a little bit about his history. Last week we learned about growing up in Vineyard Town, you know, the environment that created you, the literate, what you call a literate environment, a lot of reading, and how that sort of fueled a passion, both from the home perspective, but also from the church perspective for music, although you went into a normal job, I would say, before going into music, and all of the different kinds of experiences that you had over time as you crafted your own sound into your first hit record and then into many more over time. But over time, you would evolve from just being a songwriter to the different aspects of the job, to producing, for instance. I want to talk a little bit about producing. Is there a Mikey Bennett sound? What's that sound? What is that?
People say it, but I'm not sure what it is actually. I think it was what I like, the frequencies I love. I love certain frequencies. And
frequencies, music word.
Frequencies like, you know, whether it's too high or too low, you know, it's like, I don't even know, it's like flavors then.
Okay.
You know, like you're mixing a drink, you put certain frequency, certain taste in it or something. And I think that's what it is. And I think it, because I was so influenced by the Motown and the Stax era. So it have a liquor that we grew up in that era.
It has a lot of harmonies from that perspective.
Exactly. And then
a lot of harmonies from the Adventist perspective.
So I'm into harmonies. So that is where it is. So the producer thing now, I was lucky enough to, you know, hook up with Shabba Ranks and lucky enough to have a big song with him and have a good relationship with him. That led to a international hit with him and Maxi Priest. And then the foreign company started to call, and, you know, things got really kind of heady. You know, all you just flying up and down the place, spending months abroad and things. It also led me to do an album with Maxi Priest, or be part of the team doing an album with Maxi Priest in England. I'd done some work with Karen Wheeler from Soul to Soul, and she was doing some work by Jazzy B's studio one night. Jazzy B was a soul person. And at first, him was a little kid, but we started to talk, and he realized I was not, you know, he took me on a tour of his facility. I mean, the studios are all right, but I'd seen better studios or similar studios in America, where I'd done a lot of work. But what impressed me, though, was when he took me upstairs where the business was. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and already 3 different set of people were working. And when you looked on top of the thing, you saw China, you know, Malay, all the kind of places. And he had people doing business. So these people had to come on at 2 o'clock in the morning to work with these other places. And he was showing me, and I was so impressed with that. Had a full-time a chef who was there 24/7, came down and had dinner. And he said something to me. He said, Mikey Bennett, if you're serious about this, you have to have your own studio. Because something going to occur to you at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you need to just go do it. And so I said, so.
This is the germ of the idea for Grafton Studios.
Exactly. We had a little thing going on, and I was in England. I mean, I was making some money, and England was where we got our equipment from. Because, like I said, I was working at Music Works, and so we knew what was taking place. I just went straight to the place and ordered my board, and you know, did a contract for them to come install it. 6 months down the road, got in touch with people. We had bought Grafton place. Got in touch with the architect and said, listen, here's the thing. So it started. And it's when I started, the idea was just, here's a place, because I was getting so much work for me to work. Of course, friends started to hear about it and come in and call. And then it became this other place. It became this wonderful little melting pot that everybody became, the whole Vineyard Town community became proud of it, and people started to come. And so it had lots of different areas and rehearsal space and this. And it was, and then we had a group of young people, Brian and Tony Gould, Chevelle Franklin, Prince Midas. And it was, like somebody said to me the other day, you had a Motown thing going on.
Motown sort of environment, Jamaica.
Exactly. One of my aunts came in, I was doing the business side of the thing. And we started everything, look at distribution and all them kind of things. So, like I say, we have been introduced to all. But what the nicest part for me at Grafton was mentoring. Having some young people. It's one thing to, even though, it's one thing it's great to produce a Bear Salmon. And I was able to produce a real nice song with Bear Salmon. I love working with berries. But it's almost like you're cheating the game, because from the song, good at game planting. So when you take a young person and try and make something to them. So I had the pleasure of working with Brian and Tony Gold. So for them to have a song like a Can You, and for Chevelle Franklin, we did some quite a couple of hits that I got. That was what drove our thing. I mean, sometimes I used to listen back to some of the old stuff that I was so excited about and say, Jesus, I mean...
You thought it was bad?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as I thought it was. But I was saying it from where I was now. And people used to say things that hurt your feeling. Even as a producer. I remember this person said to me, the biggest check you'll ever get is a publishing check, not a producer. And I was kind of vexed because I was thinking my producer was going good. Until the check came and I said, okay then. Life changed. Then I had a family. I mean, apart from family, I have 7 wonderful kids.
How are you balancing that?
That was the hardest part. And that is the most challenging part. But I used to insist on taking them to school. And one of the things that we used to do in taking them to school, I used to listen to, forget the name of the radio person, Tweets. And he would say one word. And I would ask everybody what that word meant. And that was a part of the whole thing. And who didn't know it? By the next day. So I got that from my parents and my aunts them. That word, that love of word, love of book, love of thing.
They're teaching and relating.
Yeah, and it was my way of dealing with them and, just relating to them in a way. And
I want to talk a little bit again about that balance. And one of your sons has gone on to be a musician as well. But
two of them. Yeah.
Let's take a break. Our first break on this episode of Profile. My guest is producer extraordinaire Mike Bennett, and we're back with you after these messages.